This is Rob Tyree. It's May 2020. I'm doing an interview on Point of View based on PsyWars, COVID-19 response. Jacob Tyree is the subject. He's my son. He's 27 years old. He works as a karate instructor, second Dan black belt, and he also works at a grocery store, major grocery store in Toronto, Ontario, a kilometer away from the CN Tower. We're just doing this interview on the way home. Okay, Jacob, I'm going to ask you some questions.
All right.
See you in frame. So, Jacob, you do PsyWars. What's PsyWars?
PsyWars. All right. So, PsyWars is a interactive story that I do like every Sunday, which is basically like D&D except without like the dice. And
so it's great. I know it's been going on for 5 years. It's a long storyline. It's the same group.
Yeah.
But after COVID-19 happened and the lockdown in March in Toronto, Jacob started thinking about and talking about doing a COVID-19 episode. We talked about it together, and he's just telling about it for the first time. So I was asking him, what is the idea of the episode in short, and then walk me through what happened.
The idea of the episode wasn't just about just COVID-19. It was to display further on the antagonist of the story's insane power of abling to use several projections at once, which one of them ended up being COVID itself. Yeah. And that is the projections are called manifests, which SPers are able to construct with the power of their minds in order to fight battles for them.
So a manifest is just a being that's special and has special powers that can be invoked by one of the characters in the game.
That is correct. Within the, they can take any form, different sizes and different type. It could be just different types of beings as well. It's So the COVID manifest does take form of basically like, let's say like if you're like looking at an alien and its head is the very is the COVID cell.
So the spiky cell that looks just like COVID. So there's an alien with a spiky cell.
Yeah.
And he's in the game.
Yes.
And that's the manifest.
That's the manifest.
And then what are the powers?
The manifest was designed to be weak. It's not supposed to be offensive. It's not supposed to be defensive. The true power behind the COVID manifest is when it's destroyed, it spreads its disease onto whoever killed it, and it is basically affected with the symptoms. But I added so that there are these purple splotches that spread on the attacker's body, and within every turn they take a certain amount of necrotic damage and have disadvantage on all attacks.
Wow, okay. So then tell me about the storyline of the game, and just keep it short. We're going to talk about 5 more minutes.
All right. Okay. So PsyWars is basically when it started in about 2015.
Just the episode, Jacob.
Just the episode?
Yeah.
The episode was short itself. It was what led up to a long conversation between two characters to basically set up for a battle that will basically take place within the next episode, following up to the antagonist having to also encounter more of my characters and yet again displaying more of what she is able to do. That just sums it up right there. Yeah.
Okay. So what happened? Did the COVID win? Did it get destroyed?
The COVID did get destroyed, yes.
How did the characters destroy COVID?
It was simple. The character that killed it just cut it down with a sword, and then it exploded, and that was when it spread its disease.
So what happened when the disease started spreading? Did people get afraid?
The attacker did get afraid, yes, because it was, especially since the character itself used to be an angel that had its wings clipped. now her powers have been like cut off.
So once the virus was destroyed, and how did they go forward? Did they have to change in the future, or did it just end with the killing of the COVID virus?
It wasn't anything like meant to be like long-winded or anything like that. It was literally just to basically bring it up as a meme.
Yeah.
And basically it's basically how I did it was just shortened between like both how the virus begun by spreading, and how is it going to be like resolved probably within the next
Let's
episode.
talk. That's great, Jacob. I'm really interested in how you guys form games. Like, you had 5 players in this.
4
players in this, and you were the master storyteller.
Dungeon Master.
Dungeon
Yes.
Master. Okay. So let's talk about the virus in real life and what's going on. So you're in a job and it's around. So what would you say your 5 top concerns are, or what you're worried about, and just list them off short?
Well, I mean, 5 things that I was concerned with was like, 1, like, am I gonna get infected? And if how long am I gonna be out of work for? And am I like, will I be able to get paid enough? And and what are and what if I like not taking the necessary steps, if I'm quarantined? And
so are you worried about the city at all? And those are good worries about yourself. What about the city? Do you worry about anything in the city?
What I'm usually worried about is that I know that we're at a point where things are slowly reopening, but what I'm usually worried about is that when people are finally like relieved and like in coming back to work, it can sometimes lead to people becoming more overzealous, and which could potentially like lead to other outbreaks.
Okay, yeah. What about the country? Do you have a worry that's a Canadian worry, a big scope? What about that?
I know that there are some concerns that in some other countries there have been some other outbreaks. I mean, I have been hearing about like that Loblaws have been shutting down because of like outbreaks.
Wow. Has that happened at a metro or just at Loblaws?
Not in my metro.
Okay. So no one's gotten sick, and it's been a long time, since March, April, May.
Yeah.
65 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you've got an excellent record. Are you happy with the types of records that the types of rules that they put in place?
I'm very happy that I'm very happy that the steps that my coworkers put into in order to make sure that we're all safe.
What are your favorite rules that you're in place that make you feel safe?
What are the rules? Having the keeping like the cashiers like safe between using like the plastic screens, and just making sure that we are all always having masks, we're always having hand sanitizers, we're always having gloves. Some say they're always coming up with different ways to have access to them. So yeah.
So one more thing, last question. If you had a wish, you have Dungeon Master powers, and you had a wish for the world, a real wish that could happen, what would your wish be to the world that you could just make happen? Because you are the Dungeon Master.
It would just be more advanced ways of catching on to like diseases more quicker.
Okay, that's a really good power. We would wish that all the science works. Do you believe in science, Jacob? That science will fix this?
Yeah, I think science is now being played like a huge like heavy role and stuff. And I mean, like, I'm not like one of those people that like think like science could be done like in a snap. It does take a certain amount of time in order to achieve these sort of breakthroughs. If there's any like ways that we can have like an actual like anti-COVID,
a vaccine. Yeah. So, okay, Jake, this is really great. Really appreciate your time. You've been an essential worker. I know that our neighborhood and people at the store always thank you for your service, and that's great. It makes you proud, right?
It does.
And do you have, as we wrap up, do you have any questions for me or a question for me?
None that I can think of.
That's all right, Jacob. Thanks for your time.
All right.
You can turn that off now.
All right.